Okay, so far we've connected with Toad and SQL Developer and similar things like that. I'm going to show you how you can connect with PHP. In order to do that, I'm going to download a new version of I don't actually want to run our version of MySQL that we downloaded. So first we want to go to Services, and we want to make sure that MySQL isn't running in the background. And I'll explain a little bit why we care about this later on, so I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And I'm also going to make it so it doesn't automatically start. Okay, good. Then we're going to download, remember how we downloaded Xamp before? We're going to download another version of it, Xamp. I mean, it's not, they're not really that different. This one I just like a little bit nicer since you don't have to install it. And boom, 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 where's the download? I'm going to download the 7-zip version. We'll just get the installer. It's going to be a little bit simpler. All it does is unzip it. Give that a minute to download. Okay. Double click on it. Let's run it. It's going to ask us where do we want to install it. Let's put in Xamp. Don't really care about all those. And so all it does is it's unzipping it. Okay, then after a while it's finally installed. So yep, go ahead and we're going to start the control panel. Okay, don't worry if you get an error every now and again. So I don't want that as a service. So we can start this. We got our Apache running, we got MySQL running. Allow access and allow access for both of them because they both want access to port. Go to localhost. Great. So we're going to do English here. So for this little part, what we've done is we basically just downloaded. It just downloaded here in C, MySQL, Apache, and Apache already has the PHP module or handler. We call it a handler, or whatever you want to call it. Handler installed, and then the PHP already has the MySQL connector installed. So that way we're going to be able to write some PHP pages that will be able to connect to the database. So before we can do that, when we actually make this connection, it's going to want to know what the login credentials are. So we're just going to go back and we're going to set the root password. Now in a real environment you would never use root, but for what we're doing it works. So to do that we're just going to click on security here, and it's going to say lots of things are insecure, but once again we don't really care for just instructional purposes. We're going to delete this anyway. So then it has a little thing, Xamp security, and we're going to set the password, and I'm just going to set it to root, and let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's try to log on here. So user root and password, and we set it to root, and great, so we can log on and see what databases they have installed by default. If we go there, let's see here. Go C, Xamp, there's MySQL, data, I believe. They have tons of these table things here. Anyway, you can see the different schemas, or the databases, whatever you want to call it. Different relational database systems call it different things. And then you could go into test, and we could see that there's nothing in that database. So let's try this. Create database example 1. And you notice that just create example 1. And anyway, so this is where all the data is stored. Just a little FYI. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, let's go, and now, okay, PHP connect MySQL example. Usually just connect and you'll find a tutorial somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and here's a good example of one, and copy that. Let's go back to Xamp, and then here, a directory called htdocs, and let's make a new directory here. MySQL example, and we'll say test.php, and try to hit the right keys. Yep, that's fine. So let's just go ahead and put some junk in there for now. This is a test. I'm going to save that. Let's make sure we're actually doing this right. Localhost. Good. Now, what do we call that directory? We called it MySQL example. That's right. Good. And so you can see it. So right now, so now let's go ahead and take that code. And, let's scroll this down a little bit. So what we have here is the we're going to connect, and it's root. We change the password to root. So if this works okay, it should connect to the database. So let's go ahead and refresh our page there. Bother. Oh good, it connected to MySQL. So what we can begin doing now, and I'll walk you through in the next part. Where's our code here? So you can see that we're connecting to the database much the same way that we were connecting to Toad, through Toad. Like in Toad, we also had to, let's come up. With Toad, we were also, you had to give it had to tell it where the host is, like, you know, what machine to connect to. We put root and root. Oh, not right now. And go ahead and connect. So just like, and you choose which schema we'll do. Let's do WebAuth. Let's see if they have any tables in there. Have you used one table, looks like. And then you can kind of navigate around the database. We can do the same thing, and I'll walk you through the commands that you'd use in PHP in order to do that in the next video.